Hi, welcome to MeganPlus5.com. Today we are going to be making some tassel garland. First, you will need a plastic rectangle tablecloth measuring about 54 inches by 108 inches. I picked mine up at the local Walmart, and this size seemed to be really perfect for this craft today. You will also need a rotary cutter, a pair of scissors, a low temp glue gun, a straight edge ruler that is clear, and a rotary cutting mat that has 1-inch squares on it. All right, let's get started. First, you need to start by taking the tablecloth out of the packaging and unfolding it lengthwise. Be sure that you are only unfolding the length and not the width. Leave that totally folded. Now you need to align the tablecloth along one of the lines on the top and then along the sides as well. I made mine 23 inches long, which was basically the size of my mat. That seemed to be a pretty good size for the tassels that I was making. Now once you have your desired length, using your rotary cutter and your straight edge, just go ahead and cut along that line. Now working with the piece that you just cut, you need to locate the two folded edges, and you will put that at the top, and then so the other end will have two cut edges and a folded edge, and you need to cut that one single folded edge all the way through. By cutting this bottom fold, you have just created two separate pieces for two separate tassels. So you need to remove the two separate pieces, set one of them off to the side, and then set one of them in front of you, folded with the fold on top and the opening on the bottom. Now once you have your single sheet placed in front of you, align the top and the sides so that they're nice and even, and you're going to cut 3/4 of an inch off of one side. You want to take your rotary cutter and cut that all the way through, and then once it is cut, just lay it off to the side. You will not be using that piece just yet. That is going to be used to tie your tassel together. You need to be sure that the opening is along the bottom and the folded edges along the top, because you are going to be cutting 1-inch strips along the bottom up into the 1-inch mark. This is where the clear ruler comes in handy, so that way you can see once you actually get about 1 inch to the top. And just be sure that you are leaving that 1-inch seam at the very top. If you do not have a rotary cutter, you can do this with a pair of scissors. It will take a little bit longer and your lines will not be as even, but it can be done. Now be sure to cut at the 1-inch mark all the way through the width of your tablecloth. Now you want to pick up the piece off of your mat and just kind of go through it, comb through it with your hand to get off any of the pieces that were sticking together. And now you want to unfold it. You want to be sure that you are pulling it totally apart. Don't pull too hard because it will break very easily, and just gather the two ends together so that you have a fringe on one end, then your 2-inch seam allowance in the middle, and then your fringe on the other end. And now you just want to gather the middle together. Now this does not have to be perfect. You just want to be sure that the middle is gathered and you have fringe on one side and the other, and then you just want to twist the middle and then just keep twisting it. I do the full 2 inches in the middle twisted, and you want to get this a pretty tight twist so that way it doesn't come unraveled and undone. Once it's twisted, you just want to make a loop with that twisted piece, and you're going to put a dab of glue in between the two pieces that are touching, so that way it has a good seal on it and it won't come unraveled on you. Be sure that when you're doing this next step, do not touch the tip of your glue gun to the actual plastic. It will melt, and it could totally just fall apart if you do that. And then just hold it there for a few seconds so that you know that the glue is dried and everything is held together. Using that 3/4 inch that you cut off earlier, cut about 3-4 inches off of there, and you're just going to wrap that around the bottom of your loop so that you get both of those pieces together, and then it gives it a nice kind of seam around that. So just put a little bit of glue, put that piece of plastic on there, and then just wrap it all the way around and seal it with another dab of glue. Be sure when you're doing this step not to pull too tightly. This plastic does tear very, very easily, and if it doesn't totally break, then it will give it kind of an ugly stretched out appearance if it is pulled too tightly. So just add that dab of glue at the very end, seal it up, and then make sure that the hole is just kind of uniformed on there. And then what I also like to do, just to kind of give it some extra stability, is to put a dab of glue in the center there. I will unfold the tassels, put a little dab of glue in the center, and then just pinch it together just to give it some more stability. I hope you found this tutorial useful. For more, visit make'em+5.com and leave me some feedback below. Thank you.